I love this. I'm so excited.
Welcome, stranger. You are now tuned in.
Tired of not knowing what your loved one wants? Don't know how to communicate your true feelings? Hi, I'm Teja Priyadarshini, and this is a show about love, sex, intimacy, and relationships. Learn how to communicate better and bring back the romance in your life. This is Game, Set, Love. Hello and welcome to another Game, Set, Love episode. I'm your host Teja Priyadarshini. I am the founder for Akashic Cosmic Healing and a spiritual transformation coach and a psychic medium. But above all, I love love and I love to date and I love to go on dates. And today's episode is all about those first dates. And I'm so excited because the chemistry that you feel when you meet a person for the very first time and the excitement that goes along with going on a first date is just so phenomenal. I mean, it's just like fireworks and butterflies in the stomach, and it's just an amazing feeling to meet someone you've been chatting with for a while for the very first time, face to face in real life. So when you go on this first date, what do you do? How do you behave? How do you know if that other person is into you or not? I'm here to help you out with this, and let's start with nerves. When we go out on our very first date with the person we have a crush on, it's very natural to have butterflies in the stomach, and sometimes we tend to get very nervous. Remember one thing. You are going there with an open mind and an open heart. You are not having any sort of expectations or judgments about how it's going to go. This is very important to do even before you decide to go on that first date. Have no expectations, have no judgments whatsoever, and think of it like this, that you're just going out to have a cup of coffee or a drink with a best friend or a person who is an associate or an acquaintance. We don't have too much expectations from such kind of people, right? We just go there, we are ourselves, we are our authentic selves, and everything seems to just flow. And that is the state you need to be in when you go on your first date. So tackle your nerves even before you go on your first date. Now for the fun stuff. The first thing that we tend to look into in our minds while we're imagining ourselves with this person having a romantic evening out, we think of, what am I going to wear? How am I going to dress in order to impress the other person? I would suggest you to dress comfortably, because if you are constantly tugging at your dress or trying to adjust your shirt or, probably wearing uncomfortable shoes, then it will show on your face, in your body language. It is not something people would look at and say, that's hot that she's adjusting her trousers or he's trying to fix his hair. No, that doesn't work like that. If you are comfortable with yourself, wearing comfortable clothes that are not too restricting, then you are able to relax more and be more present, trying to have a conversation instead of constantly thinking about, I hope my zip doesn't come off, or I hope that, my feet don't swell up with these shoes, things of that sort. So to avoid all that extra jazz, it's best to dress comfortably. I'm not saying don't dress up. Do dress up, be your best, look killer, but make sure that you're comfortable in whatever you're wearing and you're not constantly worried about something popping off or tearing or, making you feel uncomfortable. The second thing is to make sure that you dress appropriately. So if you have decided to, say, go to a coffee shop to just get a cup of coffee, but if you're dressed like you're going out dancing or clubbing, it doesn't really sit very well with the scenario you're going to put yourself in at the coffee shop. It's going to make you feel uncomfortable. You're going to have people looking at you and wondering, why is she so overdressed for a coffee date, So dress appropriately for the place that you're going to. So if you are going clubbing, then go all out and dress the way you want to dress. But say if you're having like a dinner at a nice restaurant, probably tone it down a little bit to suit the particular ambience of that restaurant perhaps. And this will also help you to make your date feel more comfortable. Because imagine if you are all dressed up, but your date isn't expecting you to be all dressed up and comes, kind of dressed appropriately. I wouldn't say underdressed, but dressed appropriately for that particular occasion. You are going to feel very, very weird, and your date is going to feel very uncomfortable with feeling like they're underdressed perhaps. So let's just avoid all of that and dress appropriately. The next most important thing to keep in mind always in any scenario is to be punctual. Punctuality is such a big turn on, trust me. When you are all dressed up and you're already nervous about meeting your crush or going on this first date, and you're sitting there wondering why they're not on time. Is it because they don't like me, or they're not very into me, they don't want to be here on time to spend time with me, or am I not a priority? All of these things start building this picture in your mind and making you even more nervous about being with this person. And it is nice when you show up on time and make sure that you do not waste the other person's time. That is, I think, just basic. It's very, very basic. So if you can do that, then you are sorted. Now that you have arrived at the place of the date and your date is also there waiting for you, what do you do next? This is the moment when the first contact happens, and I am very excited about this because many of us, when we go out on a date, we hardly even touch. So break that barrier at the very beginning. Give them a handshake, or even better, give them a hug, and make that person feel comfortable and understand that it's okay to kind of have this whole physical contact happen, because after all, you're on a romantic date and you would want to explore more of that, right? So by doing this, by shaking their hand or giving them a hug, you're telling them, I'm comfortable with my body and I'm comfortable if this date goes ahead in a romantic direction, and if we do get intimate, or you want to hold my hand or give me a kiss, I might be okay with that, right? Depending on how the entire date goes. But you're establishing ground rules right then and there, and you're also showing them that you are in control, you are comfortable, and that they can also ease up. So first contact is very important. So as soon as you get there, break that barrier and give them a handshake or give them a hug, and then relax into the date. Now, when you're sitting down for your date, try not to sit opposite your date. Try sitting next to them, because when we sit opposite them, there is always a barrier, which is usually the table, and this barrier doesn't allow you to open up or really connect with them. So by sitting next to them or perpendicularly next to them, I'm not really sure, my geometry really sucks, but when you're sitting next to them in that V shape, you can hold hands. There is a possibility of you doing that, and also it's a very intimate way of sitting next to one another, which is telling the other person that, hey, I'm close by if you want to run your fingers through my hair or hold my hand, or just touch one another slightly when we are talking. So these things are really helpful in taking the date to the next level. So try sitting next to them instead of sitting opposite them. Like, you're not going there for an interview, right? So just be yourself, be casual, sit next to them, and open up the conversation by complimenting them. Compliment them on the way they look, or the way they smell, or the way they have selected their clothes even, or the way their hair looks. So just giving them a compliment is sending the signal out saying that, okay, I am appreciated and I am acknowledged for all of the effort that I've put into this date, and the person tends to then relax and get into that conversation much more easily, because complimenting somebody is going to take that stress or the pressure away from them, making them relax even more and not thinking in their mind that, am I looking good? Am I even impressing them? Are they even impressed by me or not? So giving them a compliment kind of takes away that pressure. So start off with a compliment before you open your conversation. Now, the things that you need to do when you're on a first date: be authentic, be yourself, be completely yourself. Let the other person know who you truly are, instead of trying to pretend like you're someone you're not. What this does is eventually it's going to fade away, and when the person sees you for who you truly are, the relationship can fall apart. So from the get-go, just be yourself, be weird, be authentic, and engage in the conversation. Try listening to what they're talking about and ask questions. Asking questions is a very fun way of kind of expanding on the conversation, because when you don't ask questions, it might come across like you're not very interested in them. But don't ask too many questions, because when you ask too many questions, it sounds like they're being interrogated or they're in an interview session of some sort. So ask the appropriate number of questions to keep the story moving forward. Now you're coming towards the end of the date and you've had a good time. You like this person, you want to connect with them again, you want to see them on a second date. So how do you initiate the second date conversation? Simply ask them what is their favorite restaurant, for example, and when they mention the favorite restaurant, then you can casually say that, hey, wouldn't it be nice if we could go there next time we meet? And they're bound to say, yeah, we should definitely try it out. And that is how you know that they are also interested in a second date. And then you can follow that up by saying that, let me know when you want to go to that particular restaurant or to that particular place. It could also be an adventure sports arena, or it could be a movie that you always wanted to watch. And then lock in your second date. This is as simple as it can get.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
That's all I have for you in today's episode of Game, Set and Love. I hope you have some interesting, fun first dates, and tell me all about it. You can connect with me on Instagram at Teja Pradarshini, and you can also send me your questions about love, sex, relationships, intimacy, whatnot on my Instagram page as well. If you like the episode, don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of my future podcasts. And next week, we are going to be exploring intimacy and sexuality. We will talk about how you can rekindle that spark in your romantic relationship. So don't miss out. Until next week, bye-bye. Love you. Mwah. This is Game, Set, Love. Tune in every Friday at 7 p.m.